Hey all, my name is Drew, and this is my Boethius project for Humanities 101. My project is dealing with his popularization of the Wheel of Fortune. So I worked with a partner, Madison, to cook some representative meals from the polar opposites of the wheel. I cooked a meal that represents the fortune at the people at the top of the wheel, and she will create a meal that represents the fortune of people at the bottom of the meal. I researched several cookbooks from the 6th century, which is Boethius' time, and got a few hits that worked for my project. I chose to do the unfortunately most appealing sounding and looking meal, pork stew. This recipe comes from a historical diet / cookbook called De Observatione Calibrum, roughly translated on the observation of foods. This book was written by a Byzantine author, Anathemus, who was a physician at the time. The book was written to the Frankish king, Theodoric, not Theodoric, the one that got him killed. The book mainly focuses on the medicinal aspects of cooking at the time, but also provides a lot of recipes too. One of which I am making, is called Pork Isicelum, which translated means a stew, a gravy, or a sauce, all kind of the same word. The ingredients needed are leeks, leaves off of celery roots, white wine vinegar, honey, and obviously pork. Here I am chopping / mincing up 2 leeks. However, the recipe does not mention that they have to be cut. The translation of the recipe is such. Place it cleaned in water, and it must be clean water, the necessary quantity. Cook it without further water, and then, when it is cooked, add very strong vinegar, filling half the pot. Then leek heads, a bit of pennyroyal, which I don't have, and the root of celery or fennel. Cook it for an hour, then add honey, half the quantity of vinegar, or depending as much as you want it sweet, and cook it at low heat, shaking the pots with your hands frequently to mix up well the sauce with the meat. Most spices are very hard to find without spending a lot of money importing them, but Anathemus said that the stew could be simple or complex, so I kept it simple. This meal would typically use very high-end ingredients and uncommon spices, like I mentioned, to the area. But as the cookbook was not written for the common person, but for the king of the Franks, who had access to them. This high-end, yet simplified for my wallet's sake, can be a great example meal for those who are fortunate enough to end up on the top of the Wheel of Fortune. Some ingredients, like previously mentioned, would be very hard for those to acquire for the common folk to readily use. The original recipe asked for 500 grams of pork, which is about a pound of pork. This is quite the high amount of pork to cook down for a single meal, especially just for one person. Picture it as me adding the leeks to a cooking pot of pork. Pork has been boiling for about 10 minutes. I also added some white wine vinegar and freshly ground pepper. After adding the leeks, I let it cool down for another about 5 to 10 minutes. After this cooking time, I added my celery leaves and began to stir. I stirred it for a while, and then left it on low for about another 15 minutes, stirring it every 5 minutes or so. And here is my live reaction to trying it. As you can tell, I was not excited due to the smell. However,
get some veggies on there. You know what? There you go, Luke.
Slam dunk, as you can tell. Kidding aside, it was a fun experience making a meal for those of higher class in the early Middle Ages, even if our taste buds are a little different nowadays. This might have been a meal that Boethius enjoyed before his downfall on the Wheel of Fortune due to fate. Either way, I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.